Hello. Today we're going to make a dinosaur scene with Magic Grow Capsules. So first let's get those out and get them soaking in the water. This time I used hot water and wrapped a blanket around the bowl so that it would maybe stay warmer longer. It didn't seem to help much. So let's see if we can separate them and take off the capsules and squish them a little bit. They ended up soaking overnight, but they still weren't very puffy, so that's okay. We'll take them out and let them dry. Yeah, they're not really the shapes that they're supposed to be. So let's just sketch some things. And we're going to use watercolor paper for the background and cardstock for the animals. Let's try squishing it on the paper to make the shape. Well, that didn't really work. Let's see, will that one work? No, not really. Okay, well, let's just draw something. Maybe a triceratops? And a stegosaurus, and I have this sketch of a pterodactyl, but it's pretty big. Well, let's just start using paint and we'll see what happens. So we know that we need a pterodactyl, so we'll start with that. And I started the sketch in the corner so that it would be smaller. And let's just paint him. He's a little bit smaller than the sketch I originally made, but it's still a little bit big, but that's okay. And we'll paint him like a reddish brown. Don't forget his little feet. And we can put some more paint and try to make his wings outlined better. This wing is too big, so let's see. We have to cut them out anyways for an animation. So we'll just kind of put some paint down and then cut the shape that we want with our giant scissors. Maybe use smaller scissors. we'll try to cut around his little claws so that he still has little claws. And there's our pterodactyl. And we can put some more paint and kind of darken it up a little bit and make his claws and a little eye. Okay, now we need another one. So we'll just kind of sketch out a little Tyrannosaurus. And then we'll make him kind of a light brownish. Maybe a little bit of green. He's a little bit smaller than the pterodactyl, but that's okay. We'll draw his little feet and his little arms. Maybe he could be holding something. In his little arms. Yeah, it kind of looks like a Tyrannosaurus. Let's wait to cut him out. And let's try to make another one. We'll try the Triceratops. It's kind of like an elephant shape with the horns on his face. Okay, now they're dry, so we can cut them out and they won't fold as much. And then we can use a knife maybe to cut in between his little legs. And there's our Tyrannosaurus. Now, let's go to the background. So we need some mountains and maybe a tree. And we need a water area. And make sure that they fit. Let's start with a light blue sky and kind of outline where we want our mountains to be. And then we can make the water area a little bit darker blue. and add some more paint to make it look like waves. And then let's try the mountains. So we'll make some purple mountains with this lavender purple color. It would be better to wait till the sky was dry, but that's okay. And then we can add some more purple to the mountains that would be in the front and make them a little bit darker and more defined. And then just go back over them with some more paint to put where the shadows would be. And add a little bit of details to the ones in the front. And on the outsides, like the sun is in the middle. Okay, and then we need some grasses. So let's get some light green first. And start painting under the mountains where it would be far away grasses. And try to make it a little bit darker towards the front and where the water is. And then we can paint some trees to cover up in between the grass and the mountains. So just make a darker green and kind of dot where the leaves would be. We can kind of let the paper decide. And then while that's drying, we can cut out our triceratops. Now we can use our markers after we make these trees a little bit darker and put some more leaves in between the mountains and the grasses. Like they're really far away trees. Yeah, trees. And then we can use a brown marker and draw like some branches and tree trunks. Just a little bit, so that it looks like a forest. Okay, then let's mix up some more green. And paint some grasses under the trees. Then we need to make it a little bit darker as we move away from the trees. And we can just kind of loosely paint it so it kind of clumps where the paper wants it to clump, and then that's our clumps of grasses. And then darker clumps towards the front and around the water area. And then I think we need a tree over here. Like one big tree. So we'll make sure that it's a good size for the Tyrannosaurus to stand under. And we'll draw some branches. And then we can use the markers to draw those leaves so that they'll have more of a defined shape. And we're making star-shaped leaves. The tree could have been a little bit taller, but that's okay. Maybe it's a baby tree. And a baby Tyrannosaurus. And we can use a couple of different colors of marker for the leaves and for the tree. So I used like a light brown and then a darker brown where the shadows would be. And then like a golden brown for where the highlights would be. Okay, so we have 3. We need at least 2 more. I want to make the one that lives in the water, the Nessie shaped dinosaur. So let's try to draw him right here. And he's gonna have flipper shaped feet. And a long neck. Okay, I think we can just go in with paint. We just need like the basic shape that we want. So we need a little tail and a head and some flipper feet. Okay, let's just paint it. And we can make him a green or green-brown. Yeah, that kind of works. And then we need a Stegosaurus. So he's gonna be an orangish brownish color, and then we'll make his spikes more orange. So we'll do his body shape first with his tail right at the edge of the paper, and his little legs, and then get some more orange, except that he's not dry yet, so it kind of blended in, but that's okay, we'll just make him orange. And we'll draw his little armored plate spikes. Yeah, he's cute. Okay, now let's put a little bit more color on the Tyrannosaurus, make him a little bit greener. And then we'll make this greenish brown a little bit darker for the Triceratops. Don't forget the little feet. And the horns. Okay, now those are drying. Let's cut out the Stegosaurus. And in between all of his little plate spikes. Don't forget the ones on the tail. And in between his feet. And then let's cut out this one. Okay, now we have them all cut out. We need our black marker for their eyes and their little mouths. So we'll give him a green mouth and him an orange mouth. And a brown mouth. And an eye for the Tyrannosaurus because his mouth is kind of open. And here's an animation that I made. Thanks for watching. Have a happy day.